Yeah, we're getting ready to get rocking today. Once this goes live, all right. You see it?
Yep.
We are live. All righty. Live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. This is Jersey Boys Sports Talk. Byron Jones and Victor Arocho, brought to you by the Sportscast. If you haven't yet already, please subscribe to all our channels. You can. We also have our podcast is streaming live on YouTube and on Facebook, so you could go back and see some of the shows. We also have the Jersey Boys Sports Talk podcast on Apple. Just go to the little purple icon, hit search, and you'll see that background. Hit notifications, and you'll be able to get to hear us in your car and talk about the NFL, the Giants, NFC East, and around football, because we talk quite a bit about different things in football. We focus on the NFC East and obviously all that comes with the NFC East, but we also have a lot of key tidbits with just the season and the top quarterbacks, receivers, and so forth. So we're excited for the show. We're excited for things that are happening in Giant Land. And hold on a second, because I have to figure my piece in two pieces, but I'm getting excited. So, Byron, you and I talked a little earlier. I heard it's really cold out in Philadelphia.
It's cold. Man, it's 32 degrees here, man. It's cold, like cold.
That's freezing cold.
But
isn't that freezing temperature?
Yeah. But I feel bad for the people in Buffalo that they're looking at 6 feet of snow where they're changing the Buffalo-Detroit game this weekend. They're moving it to Detroit because they're expecting so much snow this weekend. 6 feet.
I thought I saw somewhere that it's almost in a state of an emergency.
Almost. They get 6 feet. To be the state of emergency, all right. That's a lot of snow.
6 feet, you said?
Feet, not 6 inches, 6 feet.
I didn't get that far. I mean, I heard you, but I didn't really hear you, because 6 feet is my height. So literally, I'm underwater, but under snow.
Right. Picture that. 6 feet.
And you have, and it's up to your neck.
Yes. Well,
you're a big guy at 6 feet.
I wouldn't go outside in 6 feet of snow.
I understand that. I'm just trying to give the relative, to the magnets. Jesus. But do you, and how we can get into, I don't get into the weather, but man, how long does it have to snow to accumulate? I can't imagine snow could come down to that heavy, right? I mean, it would have to be like snowing, just consistent snowing, right?
Yep.
And hours. What's the temperature there?
I don't know. All I know is all I heard was the keyword snow. That's all I worried about. The temperature.
Well, snow is one thing, but 6 feet of snow, I don't think I've ever heard that in my life.
Well, come back up north. Come back.
No. You have never. Do not tell me that you have ever heard or ever experienced in Jersey, in Philadelphia, that is going to be 6 feet of snow.
No. Now maybe 2 feet. Never. Like we got
it could be 24 and they call it, and they still say inches. It could be 2 feet, maybe max 3 feet. But
well, we've got that. Yeah. We've gotten 2 or 3 feet.
That's 6 feet bigger than the average sized man.
We've gotten 2 or 3 feet, yes. And I've had to drive to work, and it took me 5 hours to get to work.
Mm-hmm. Well, places like Atlanta, where I used to live there for a little while, if there was just an inkling that it might snow, that whole city shut down. Like, I don't care if it's like half an inch. I don't care if it's a possibility. And what happens is they're not prepared for it. They don't have the salt. They don't have all the pieces, and everything shuts down. They don't have a drive there. So, well, prayers out to the people in Buffalo. Man, we're having a lot of crazy stuff. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm glad my nieces went to the University of Buffalo, so I'm glad they're not there now. So Well, so hey, I know you wanted to mention we have another unfortunate person from our hometown, Perth Amboy, passed away. You want to talk a little bit about Tyrone?
Yeah,
Shout out to Richie Vargas and all this, and to Tyrone and his family. So you want to talk about a little bit about that?
yeah, Tyrone Fashaw, a staple of Perth Amboy, involved in all the sports. He was a tremendous baseball player, tremendous pitcher. I mean, like through some smoke. And he was always involved, with the kids, as far as I think with the Red Raiders and a bunch of stuff in Amboy. He was always at the Perth Amboy football game, because he's a like photographer, always taking pictures at the home games and some of the away games. But yeah, it's a great loss. You figure Mo Bryant a couple months ago, and now Tyrone Fashaw, my sympathy and my prayers go, to the Fashaw, family. And let's also don't forget the UVA kids, the University of Virginia, the three guys that killed by their teammates down there. Don't forget them too.
No, there's more. There was a stabbing at another college.
And Idaho was 4 kids. Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's just you know, Byron, everybody goes through storms in their lives. I've had several of them, and sometimes I kind of feel like I'm still in them. But everybody's worst times is somebody's best times. You know what I mean? And in situations like the kids, with Tyrone and his family, and then the kids from the University of Virginia, that's just that's a nightmare, parents' nightmare, and it's just this nightmare across the board. So blessings, prayer to everybody out there. More reason, I started this year really well, trying to reach out to as many friends as possible and associates, just because you never know what could happen. Like Mo was a major surprise, for me. It broke my heart. So, for everybody out there, try to reach out. I call my dad. I'm blessed to have my dad still here. My dad just turned 88, so happy birthday to Pops. And we're going to see him next week for Thanksgiving, which is our normal ritual. And, it's just they're all getting older. So blessings to everybody. Just remember to call your loved ones. So those of you watching Jersey Boy Show, call your loved ones, tell them how you feel, and, show some gratitude. And I think that's the greatest feeling you could have. And I want to do more of that to a lot of people. I've been fortunate to have a lot of kind and generous and good people in my life. So I think I got to make a lot more calls. That's going to be my goal for this next 2 months. Call as many and text as many friends and associates that I know, just to say hello and say hi. So let's get into the sports, baby. All righty. So statistically, did you know that this is the winningest conference in NFL history right now? This is the first time a conference has had a winning percentage at this level in NFL history.
About time. About time. All these
From worst to first. Now remember, it's half the season.
And what do they always tell you?
Quickly.
What do they always tell you? Any given Sunday.
It's true, but we got a pretty good jump. When I say we, meaning everybody in the NFC East, right? And then we're going to talk about the other things that are happening. But it's pretty impressive to go from one to the other. Number one, and number two, third year in a row, I'm picking Giants to win the NFC East, right? Third year in a row. And my logic always behind it, Byron, was because the conference was so weak, there was nobody so dominant that it was up for grabs. Right? That was always my logic. And I still think they have a shot. I think Philadelphia is tough, let me tell you. But we'll get into those games. So I'm just happy that we're able to report some of these pieces that are going on. And it is it's panning out to be a great season for the Giants, great season for an NFC East. All right, so let's get into it. So let's go with the Giants. Let's talk about that win over the Texans.
They were able to run the ball. They played good defense. No craziness happened. We've seen that Kenny Golladay is absolutely useless as a receiver. He had the one that he should, that he missed, but the second one he just straight up dropped it. He got benched for the sole second half of the game. So besides that, everything else was working out fine. Wanda Robinson got a couple ball. Saquon carrying the load the way he did. 35 carries or whatever he had, and Daniel Jones didn't have to run, and he just threw just enough to keep him off him. But that was a good win for the Texans because they were kind of they were tough. Some things that if that went their way, it could have been a whole different game. But I still love you. I still love Lovie Smith, even though he was on the other side.
Yeah, well, I mean, let me tell you something. Davis Mills put up some numbers, though. I mean, he threw an interception, obviously, but he was 22 37. He threw up 300 yards. He passed for 300 yards.
Yep.
We got to be careful with that. They rushed for over 100.
That running back was a rookie, too. That was a rookie running back.
Well, yeah, they had Damian Pierce.
Yep, rookie.
Ran for 94 yards. He averaged 5.5 yards. And then Daniel Jones. So look at this. The Texans, 319 yards passing. So we got obviously problem with pass defense. Daniel Jones was only threw 17 passes. He was 13 to 17. It was good. 2 TDs and 197 yards.
Very efficient. Efficient.
Goes back to the type of giant quarterback backs that we're accustomed to, right? Not necessarily having a have blowout superstar games all the time, but just control the ball.
That's it.
You know what I mean? All I care about is his red zone presence, right? So it's just as long as we're getting there. But if you notice, he's not a lot of times in the red zone, right? We're scoring from deeper than when we're in the red zone.
As long as they get in the end zone, that's all that matters.
I get it, but we got to make sure we stay from the zone. So then Barkley had 152 yards, 35 carries, but 35 carries. That's what I'm talking about.
Run that ball, Saquon.
Give the ball to the man.
Yeah, because you figure, a 230-pound back, constantly going, banging. Eventually, he's going to break one. Eventually, they're going to wear the defensive line down, which they did, and they were able to break, a little bit longer runs, in the second half. But yes, give Saquon the ball and block.
And we with Daniel Jones and Breida, we had close to 200 yards rushing.
Run the ball.
Darius Slayton had 95 yards receiving, 3 catches.
And just think with him, he went from the outhouse to the penthouse because he was like on the cusp of probably getting cut, before the season, and they really didn't use him much at all. And now all of a sudden he's become a very reliable receiver because all the other ones are like, yeah.
Let me tell you, Leonard Williams had a good game. He had 5 tackles, 4 assists, a half a sack.
Don't forget Big Dex. Big Dex is ranking up there in the top 5 as far as defensive linemen. He's like right behind Aaron Donald.
He had 1 tackle. He had 1 tackle, 1 sack, and 4 assists. That's pretty good.
There you go. Big Dex, but they still can't stop the run though. They're still awful run defense.
Jihad Ward had a sack. Jason Pinnock had 3 tackles, an assist, and 1.5 sacks.
He's still more of a what do you want to call it? He's still more of a special teams guy. He's not. He got lucky. And they schemed it up where he was able to get the sacks, but he's not a full-time guy. I'm gonna tell you that now.
We punted the ball 6 times.
Yeah, and they might be looking for a real new punter real soon because the Scottish, whatever they call this guy, the boomer or bomber or whatever you call him, it's not.
He's only averaging 40 yards.
Yeah, but he's not good at all. Like the placement where you were talking about before, as far as like kicking inside the 10, and to get it down. He's awful. Not good, not bad. Awful is the word for this guy. Gillian or whatever his name is. He's terrible. They might be looking for a new punter in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, so look at the other guy had 5 punts, but he averaged like 46 yards a punt. 6 yards is difference, right? And he had 2 inside the 20, right?
Right.
And this gentleman you just talked about, he had
0.
He had one inside the 20. So,
But he had a whole lot of other chances besides that one. He's not very good at ball placement at all.
Well,
So
look, total yards 367 Giants, 387 Texans. I mean, even though our defense is playing well, we can't be giving up yards like that,
they
right?
they've been going with the philosophy bend, get to the inside the 10 and then tighten it up and make the other team get field goals. That's what they've been doing.
We're stopping the run. It's the passing.
No, they're not. They're averaging 5.5 yards a rush with the Giants. They are not stopping the run.
Huh? Well, they only gave up 100 yards.
But they're giving up over 5 yards a carry.
The yards per play is 6.5.
Yeah, the run defense is not good. It's not good at all.
The 22 first downs for Texans, only 19 for us. Our efficiency was 50%. Theirs was only 30%, third down efficiency. We ran more plays, sacks are pretty punts were pretty cool. Penalties we have 5 penalties before only 24 yards. They had 7 for 40. Time of possession. Just look at the difference in running. 33 minutes compared to their 26. So I think that's a good win. I mean, like I said, we could have ran the tables. We had that one loss. We still could have ran the table. So, we're playing this week against Detroit, right? Who do we play this week?
Detroit,
right? All right. Well, that should be a win.
They're a lot better than you think they are. Even though I think they won 1 or 2 games.
The Giants got to be better. The Giants are better than most like they are too. And the Giants got to keep this momentum going. I think they're doing a good job. The coaching staff, I think everyone's doing a good job. We need time for improvement. And we're not at full tilt yet, still, correct?
It never will be. Because we're gonna have the worst receiving group in the whole NFL for the rest of the year, unless they sign OBJ, which might help a little bit. But besides that,
how do you say it might help a little bit? Why do you not like this guy? I mean, you think the same thing when he went to the Rams.
Because he's coming off an injury. He's 30 years old. He hasn't played more than half the season. You're not going to know what you're going to get out of this guy. And Daniel Jones, you figure, all right, he's coming in the middle of the season, so he's not going to really have a rapport with him because he's just showing up. I know he's a great receiver, but there's it's a lot more of I don't know.
When did he join the Rams?
Huh?
When did he join the Rams? Half the season.
Yeah, but look at the difference of quarterbacks. Stafford is.
Oh, wait a second! But Daniel Jones is a star.
He is. He's still my star.
So if Daniel Jones is a star, then what is Matt Stafford? Then is there something greater?
Okay.
Okay, so you gotta help me. I lost you. Where'd you go?
I'll be right back.
Oh, we had to take care of. Is this commercial break? All right, so this is the commercial break. I'm gonna talk to you about
the Giants. Okay. The Rams had a better running game last year when they went, the Super Bowl. They have a better offensive line. They had a better quarter. You might as well say Stafford's better quarterback at this point, in his career. So
he's the better quarterback. Not in this point.
Then on the other side with the Rams, they had Cooper Kupp was the other guy. Cooper Kupp was the guy. He was the guy.
He still is.
So OBJ was always, he was covered by the second, the number 2 corner or maybe the number 3. Okay, he's a slot guy. He's the guy.
Yeah, but he lit it up, dude. You got to admit, in those 8 games, he lit it up.
Because
he lit it up in the Super Bowl.
He was being covered by the second string cornerback.
That's not his problem.
Right? I know it's not. I'm just saying he wasn't being covered by the number 1 guy when he was with the Rams.
Well, wait a second. Was OBJ the number 1 receiver?
No, because it was Cooper Kupp.
Then why would he be covered by the number 1 guy?
But he's getting more opportunities with,
like my sir.
Whatever, man. He's getting more opportunities with the second, the number 2 corner, and maybe even the number 3.
My point is that half the season he still can be productive, and with in mind 1, number 2, I also do believe that I like Beckham, right? I just think that he had wasted. I think even though he got hurt, he played so little and had so little action. Cleveland. It almost like preserved his years, though, Byron.
Yeah,
It's
but
almost like literally not playing. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
but
And then coming in, it's like it's like you could say. I'm just throwing out Aaron Rodgers, for example. Aaron Rodgers didn't play 4 years in first 4 years. So technically, he has 4 years of. Not that he
eh,
has the equivalent of longevity. I'm just saying that he has 4 years of not being hurt. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
but
So
you got OBJ has had two major knee operations, ankle, shoulder,
is he
oblique,
better
all
than the
kinds.
receiving guys we have right now?
Right now, yes.
That's it. I mean, we're arguing. I get what you're saying. It's still an upgrade, right? And we need something to get us past, right, the NFC East. We
Right.
need something else because I think Saquon is just not going to be enough. I think Daniel Jones is doing his part. He's doing a good job running and doing the things he needs to do. It's not enough. We need that. You know,
They needed a receiver,
did I send
a
it to you
real
the
one.
other day? I don't know. There was like I forgot. I don't know what I saw. Either YouTube. I thought I sent it to you. It was like a Victor Cruz highlight. And I just miss those days, man. When they were just Victor Cruz was lighting it up, but it wasn't just Victor Cruz. It was Practical Burr. So you had our
They had a
tight
good
ends
tight
at that
end.
time.
They had a good
We had,
receiver, running back.
we had three running backs, right? I mean, we were just potent, right? And even then, it wasn't like we were lighting it up. But I think it's a good win. But I'm picking the Giants against Detroit. We need to keep winning. I'm happy the Eagles lost, which we'll get into that next. I'm happy with that. So that's a little bit about Thibodeau. Thibodeau, he's only had one sack, and you were talking about, just some of the rip moves and so you wanted to throw a bomb out. You ready to bomb it out now, or you want to wait a little bit?
I'm might as well do it now. I was talking to some other people and some other things, and they were bringing up the fact that he doesn't have that many set. He does set the edge like he's supposed to. As far as not let the running back get outside and doing the things that he's supposed to do. Playing being the edge rusher. But his problem is he thought by him coming with college, most of the tackles aren't that good in college, and he's able to run around these guys. And that's what made him look spectacular. Then when you get to these NFLs, when you got these 6'6", 6'7", guys that you got to, it takes you 3 days to get around, and they're 325 pounds, 340 pounds, and they can move. And the only move I've seen this guy do is a rip move, where you bring your arm up under the tackle's arm, as you're going by him, and these guys' arms are dragging on the ground. So basically, it's not working. He needs to come up with some other kind of move.
But that's coaching too, right? I mean, the coaches got to start seeing. I mean, because if you're a D lineman and you see it, I mean, these guys got to see it every day, so they got to help him. He's still a young kid. The kid's got talent.
Yeah, but I'm sure they see it. But all he does rip. Then he does rip.
Yeah, but they got to teach him.
Yeah, but he should know. He should know all this stuff before he even got there.
He should know nothing. They got to teach him.
Yeah, you do. Because when you get to that level, they refine whatever you've done and was successful in college. They're going to refine that at that level. They're not going to. They might come up with something else different for you to do. But whatever you were good at in college, that's what they're going to do. They're going to refine and fix that. And I've seen two rip the spin. And that's it. I haven't seen him like Von Miller. You ever watch Von Miller? He has like a bend to him, where he's bending, coming around, the end.
Look at the Bosa.
Yeah, and what do they look like? When you watch them, when you focus,
the Bosas, they're good, and you still can't stop them.
Yeah, but look at the position that they get in a 4-point stance sometimes, or 3-point stance, like a track stance, and when they're coming around the end, they got a bend to them. They don't, they're not doing all this stuff. They're bending at the waist, and they're coming around and they're beating, those tackles, because most likely they're a little bit shorter than these tackles, and they're getting up under this guy where they're able, to come around. Thibodeau at 6'5", or wherever he is, he's not doing it. He doesn't have I just don't see a bend to him coming around, the corner. The other guy that they were going to get rid of, like X-Man, Osenemies, what is his name? The X guy. I can't think of his name now. But him, And they're going to throw him in the garbage. He was a third round pick a couple years ago. He has a bend to him coming around the edge. He's a better pass rusher now at this point than Thibodeau. But that's just sort of things I said.
Remember, where's Capraro, the next LT?
He's going to get there. He's going to get there, but it's just the moves. He just needs to work on some other ones.
All right, and then we got Evan Neal coming back.
Right? From the right tackle.
Right tackle. So he's not coming back for Thursday, but he'll come back for Sunday, right?
Right.
They play Thursday and then Sunday?
Yeah. The quick turnaround Thursday night.
That's rough.
Why? They've been doing. You're gonna play on
Who do they play? Who do they play Sunday?
Really, man?
Well,
the Lions, man. Come on, man. The Lions.
How much more work would you like?
Wait a minute.
Doing here?
Wait a minute. Here, I'll show you. That's
Sue.
Remember that? Here, there. Look in the front. What does that say? The Lions, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's what
he have his jersey.
Because I like him, but that's for something else later.
That's what our fans say. You got hats for every team. You got shirts for every team. I got one shirt. Here it is.
Ah.
Real one. It's real shirt. None of those fake, screen cover shirts.
Whatever.
Man, I think we're fine. And Baker Mayfield's proven to be just Baker Mayfield. Right, so we'll talk about a few other things here. Let's move on a little bit because we're getting a little bit longer on there. Okay, Eagles lost to the Commanders. Again, like I said, when I had that talk when we had our other gentleman that helped with the co-hosting about Heineke. I don't understand why they just don't just focus on that kid and develop him. Man, he hasn't really played bad. I mean, because you haven't given him the chance. I think he's playing 500, right?
Yeah, because you're paying the other guy $1 billion, though. That's why.
Yeah, but I got that, Byron. Let's remove that for now. I'm just saying to you, you're paying them that, but it's not successful, right? So, but Washington played, they played a good game, right? I mean, it wasn't like they played a good game, right? They played a good game, and it's hard to go undefeated. And like I said, look at who the first loss is, and I predicted it.
You did?
Predicted it. Predicted it. What I predicted was not necessarily the Washington defeating Philly. I don't remember who I picked, but I think I picked Washington anyways because I wanted Philly to lose. I picked Washington, guaranteed. And yeah, don't make a face because at least I tell you what I know I said. You change what you actually say, so let's make sure we're clear. Deny, deflect. Exactly. So what you say, with all due respect, you're a good man of integrity, but when it comes to sports on our show, you have a tendency to flip flop. So what I predicted, Byron. I mean, I'll jog your memory because I know you're getting a little older there.
I'll be back. Keep going.
Oh, all right. So we're going to break the commercial break. So now, did you know that you can two ways money? Save it or spend it. And there's pros and cons to two of them. Check out my site, victorrocha.com. Learn more about valuable assets. All right, let's go. Byron, if you're still there, you can hear me though, right? Well, if you can't hear me, I'm going to tell them what I was predicting. So, biggest thing for me, and I'm going to repeat it when Byron comes back, is that the NFC East, knowing that Philadelphia had to play the NFC East multiple times, and for some reason in this season, the NFC East is playing each other like later in the season, like back to back to back. So the prediction I'm saying, one, I picked Washington to win purely because I want Philadelphia to lose, but I knew, not that I knew, but in my heart, I knew that they're not going to go undefeated. One, it's really, really hard. And two, to play the NFC East, play 6 games, right? So it's 2 against 2. Playing 6 games against the NFC East and win all 6 of those games, to me, I don't think it'll ever be done. I don't think any NFC East team has gone undefeated in the conference.
Yeah, they have.
Who?
I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
See what I mean? You just throw stuff out there. So that's what I predicted. Do you remember that now? That I said there's no way they're going to go undefeated playing against the NFC East team. It's just too difficult to beat each other that much. The biggest problem I had with the NFC East was like we would dominate Dallas. Dallas would dominate Philly. Philly would dominate the Giants. I'm like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, how can one team dominate one and then dominate another? It just kept going around. So that was my feeling with that. But two things, right? Everyone's upset with that call, right? And I can understand, but at what point are you going to start doing every single call now, Byron? I mean, because there's blatant calls in defense, defensive secondary that they're not calling. There's blatant calls, and then there's some ridiculous calls on hitting the quarterback. So, it's part of the game. And Philly, you're undefeated. You're, one of the top teams in the league. That one play was a major difference, but you shouldn't let the game get so close.
Well, it was two of them. You figure the one was where they did miss that call as far as pulling the face mask. And then the second one, he's a 13, 14-year vet, Brandon Graham should have known that, they're going to call that, with him sliding across the knees and hit the quarterback. He should have known that was going to happen. So that was, that was a mistake on their part. But the other thing to cover all your other stuff is that the Washington Redskins have set the template as far as how to beat the Eagles.
All right, what's that template?
And that was running the ball, which they did. They control the clock. And then the speed rushers that they have, they kept tight ends, in on both sides, and they chipped to the defensive ends before they went out for passes. And then the Eagles are susceptible to running the ball. That's why they went out and got, people are going to talk about now is Sue, and they got, Linville Joseph, who, used to play with the Giants as well. The Giants, Minnesota and San Diego. So they went out and got two guys that were, run stoppers, and that Jordan Davis, the big guy, has been out with a high ankle sprain for the Eagles. But they have, you can beat the Eagles. You just got to be able to run the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the Eagles played well. I mean, Jalen Hurts is playing some good football.
What?
What? Well, what?
You think so?
You don't think he's playing good football?
Yeah, I always do. I like Jalen Hurts. He's a good guy. I like him.
He's been playing good football. I mean, he's been doing it all. I mean, he's playing really good football.
The other thing they brought up today with him, they're saying that, and this happened, the Eagle fans are crazy around here, that he's trying to prove to the world that he's more of a pocket quarterback than a running quarterback. Because he hasn't taken off his run as much as he's done earlier. So that was one of the things that they've been discussing around here, as far as him not taking off running, which is part of his game. But he wants to stay back there and throw the ball to all these receivers. But Goddard is out there tight end, so that's going to hurt them.
Well, who's putting up some numbers? And not to get off too much on the topic, with Justin Fields is putting up some serious running numbers.
Yeah, because why?
Like he's got no choice.
He's doing what his strength is, running the ball. They had 178 yards rushing.
78 yards rushing.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I mean,
for a quarterback,
he's leading. Yeah, he's leading rushing. I mean, I don't think you would have said going into this season, if we had to rank the running quarterbacks, he would be in the top 5.
Yeah, he would.
You think?
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I would have. Well, maybe, but I guess I didn't. I knew he was a running quarterback, but they're still losing, though.
That'd be all right.
It goes back to my saying, you can't go into the game hoping your quarterback runs for 100 yards, much less 178. You're not going to win the game, right? You may pull it out, but you consistently cannot win the game.
Right? Unless you're the guy from Baltimore.
And no, even that, they can't consistently win the game when he's running at 100. I mean, that was the problem. You can't go into. I mean, even our boy Justin from the Bama Standard, we talked about that. You know that, Byron. A quarterback that can run is dangerous, but it's dangerous when it's selectively used, right?
Yeah, but
if you need to count on your quarterback to run for 100 yards, you have a problem.
Yeah, but didn't Lamar Jackson run for 1,000 yards a couple years ago?
Yeah.
And
Okay. And they make
that's
it. Where did they go? Where did they
they
go?
won.
We
They
had
didn't
that
won the Super Bowl.
conversation last week. What's the
Ah,
goal? What is the goal? The Super Bowl. The goal is
yeah,
the
yeah,
Super Bowl.
we've
So
been through that
1,000 yards is great, but it doesn't hurt him. I think he's getting better at looking downfield. He's not just taking off, right? But I still go to the fact that I think the best um and I'm not saying pure runner because I think Lamar is probably one of the best pure runners, right? But I think the best strategic running quarterback to me is Patrick Mahomes.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, we getting on that again. Let's move along. I ain't
Like
getting
we're
on
gonna
that.
move on. I'm just saying he's the smartest running quarterback I think
But
that's out there. That's
the
all.
difference with him, he's looking to throw the ball. He's not looking to go, take off
No,
all the time.
no, no. I'm talking
Yes,
about
he is.
when you watch some film and watch when he runs, when he crosses the line of scrimmage, right? And just watch him. Like he's thinking. He's thinking when he's running. The other guys, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Daniel Jones. I mean, anyone who's a runner, when they're running, it's over. They're running. That's it. They're just there's no thought about it. They're going to get as much yards as they can. Even Aaron Rodgers going to get it. Watch this. I'll send you maybe a highlight. Watch how Mahomes runs. It's like he's just contemplating what he can get extra out of what that defensive guy is going to do. But I'll leave it alone because I know you're getting all puffy because you can't believe it until I show it to you. But we'll be fine. All right. Well, the Eagles lost. That's a good one. Well, we'll see who they got coming up. Dallas losing to Green Bay and the talk about Dak, and that was a happy one for me.
Might as well. Let's throw this out.
I'm not a fan of Rodgers anymore. I think he's awesome, but Dak's just not playing well, in my opinion.
Dak is a average, overrated, $95 million quarterback. He's average.
He wasn't playing well before he got injured. Okay. And he is now continually not playing well.
They should put the other guy, Cooper Rush. Put him, Cooper.
Well, you can't do that because they're paying him $1 gazillion. You can't give it. Why do you pick and choose your arguments? Like they're not consistent.
Yeah, they don't apply to the other guy. Just Dak.
They apply. There's no way they're going to sit Dak, right?
Why not?
But he's not playing well.
Cooper.
He's not playing well. I don't know if it's Dak or the combination of the coordinator and Dak, coordinator and Cooper Rush. I mean Cooper Rush. What did he lose? One game?
Yeah. Here, this is the problem. I'm going to break it down to you real quick. The 2 interceptions that he threw, Dak, were not his fault. The receiver did not run where they were supposed to be. Their timing pattern, they're supposed to run, in front of the safety. That's what they were supposed to do. So the 2 interceptions that he threw were not on Dak. There were 2, I think one was to the tight end and the receiver, but that was their fault. That's not his fault, but still, Dak is still a bottom 15 quarterback, though. I'm still throw that out there.
Yeah, he's just not playing well. I said that before he got injured. He didn't look like, I listen, as much as I don't like the Cowboys, I gave a Dak last year a lot of credit, right? Like for him to come off that injury, he came out on fire, right? Weren't they leading the league in offense?
Yeah.
He played like he earned that money, right? And then just something happens. I don't know what it is. Somewhere along the line, he's hesitant. He's not. It doesn't look like he's going through his progressions. He's going through the check off a lot faster, right? I wonder if mindset comes into play, right? Because he's coming in and Cooper Rush was doing well and he's having a tough time. And in Dallas, they don't mess around, right? They're gonna. Like the media, the fans. They're gonna be attacking.
You know what the problem was? They got rid of Amari Cooper. That was a go-to guy.
That was a bad move.
That was their go-to guy, and now it's, they're trying to force feed CD Lamb as far as being the number one guy, and I don't think personally
And he's been dropping the ball.
A lot of balls.
He makes great catches and then drops easy catches.
Yep, all the time.
Right.
Getting rid of
I don't know. But hey, look, Dallas losing is always happening to me. The Eagles losing was happy. Was even happier. That was a conference game.
Well, don't throw this out there too.
Washington looked good, and your boy Chase Young is coming back.
Yeah, next week. But don't forget this too. Dallas, the Dallas Cowboys defense is suspect too, because what Green Bay do? They lined up and they ran the ball, even though they were down. They kept running the ball, and they were able to pull out a win. But there's two teams that had problems, stopping the run: Dallas and Philadelphia.
Yep, and that's good for us because we're running the ball rather well,
Yes, so we're going to keep running the ball until they figure out something else to do.
Well, hey, look, Saquon's having what are Saquon's stats at this point?
I think he has 931 yards on the season.
And it's halfway through the season. We're only halfway through the season.
Yeah.
He's on pace for, close to 2,000 yards.
He ain't going to get 2,000 yards. That's too much. Too much.
I don't think so.
That's a lot of tread. That's a lot of tread on the tire, man. That's too much tread in the tire.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to be pretty
16, 1,700. That's a good year. 16. Yeah,
that's a good year. That's
a good
100 yard average, 100 yard thing.
Yeah,
all right, so we got now. Let's get into some of the pieces. Let's get back to. So we got Dallas, we got Washington. I think Washington looks a little better. They looked really bad early. They looked good the last two games.
And who was the quarterback? We tried. Who's the other guy? No. Before
Wentz.
There you go. That's the problem right there. Carson Wentz, and you figure all the other issues they got between selling the team and the lawsuit, and they're a mess. But yes, Mr. Heineke should be the quarterback, and that's it.
And they should develop the guy. Give him a couple of years to develop, right? Because he's proven that he's played pretty well. So I just think that it's going to be an interesting going down the stretch, right? I think that because I think those teams get more excited beating Dallas than anybody else. So that helps us out there. And let's see what happens. I think the Eagles still look good, but look, they're not giving any respect to the Giants at all. Right? They're still not giving the respect like on the morning shows, on Get Up and what's in the Stephen A. Smith show. They're not giving any respect to the Giants. And okay, we'll see what happens. And granted, our season is, our schedule wasn't that strong, but neither was Dallas's, neither was the other guy, right? So we're doing, we're doing what we're doing. We're doing better than we expected at this point.
A lot better. But the one guy that always gives them, props is Chris Canty. Remember him? He played for the Giants, and he always, he usually has something good to say, as far. But some other guys, no, not so much.
That's okay. You know what it is, and that's okay. I think I rather just let them. I rather them not talk about it, right? Let us just keep coming up. But I'm still of the opinion that when the NFC East teams are playing well, it's dangerous for the rest of the league.
Yeah, but who saw this coming as far as the Giants being 7-2? Nobody.
Nobody saw.
Well, except me. I did.
Nobody saw the NFC East to have the best record in the NFL.
I saw the Giants being 7-2. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. Okay. You drink your apple juice. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, hey, look, and the Eagles are shoring up more, right? Who they just signed?
Sue, Ndamukong Suh. Remember him with Tampa Bay and Detroit and Miami? They just signed him.
Yeah, that guy's just a beast. He's huge.
And you figure, he's well rested. And they signed Linval Joseph that used to play with the Giants. He was a second-round pick a few years ago. Well, in 2010. Yeah. So they signed him, and they're going to shore up that that defensive line. And they got two guys that are very good at stopping the run. So it should be interesting in Philadelphia. And when they get the young kid, the rookie back, then they're going to have three big. They're gonna have three men in the middle, the middle of that field
Yeah,
because Fletcher
and
Cox.
Sue's just so big, he just clogs up the middle.
Yeah, but the other kid is bigger.
Oh my God.
Jordan Davis.
That's
Is
well.
bigger.
Anyhow, so they signed them, so that means they're making a move to fill up to stack up. The Cowboys signed Tack McKinley.
Yep. Yeah, he's a Dan Quinn guy. He was, I think, it was a first round pick a few years ago, defensive end. Things didn't, work out there, but they signed him up, to show up, the defensive end and get more, pass rush, with the Cowboys. And then the other pick that's kind of interesting is Callaway, because this is kind of with, Antonio Callaway. He used to be with, the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, and he's not a bad receiver. He's pretty good, and that might take them out of the OBJ sweepstakes if they've already signed a receiver. So we'll see how they go. But
I will take OBJ. There's a game going on right now.
Yeah,
Titans and Green Bay. It's 7-6 right now.
yeah.
All right, so we Giants got to make some moves, dude. Where do you think?
Yeah, but we don't have no money. We got $2 million of salary cap. So who are you gonna sign unless
Well, speaking of that, Kadarius Toney ain't really doing too well. They ain't doing too much in Kansas City. I mean, he may have a catch or two, but he's not doing anything.
He scored a touchdown.
He did, but I mean,
the guy he didn't want to play for the Giants for whatever reason that it is. Good reason.
He's not doing much with Kansas City either, though.
Well, but he probably figures that he's the first round pick, and that if he doesn't perform, with Andy Reid, who's probably one of the best coaches in all of the NFL, and if he does, this is it for him. He knows, but it's obviously he just didn't want to play for the Giants for whatever reason it was. He did not want to play. How you get one hamstring, then next you get the second hamstring, and then all of a sudden, a week later, he's playing, on TV, scored a touchdown. Come on, he's a clown. He belongs out in the middle of Midwest. He's perfect, where he is now.
All right, so let's see what we got coming up. All right, well, I love the Giants. Second year in a row, the Giants playing on Thanksgiving, right?
They played Thanksgiving last year.
That's what they did.
Sure.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I don't know.
Because I think I was all excited about that. We'll check. We'll see. All right. Well, what do we got coming up? So we got the Bears we got the Titans and the Packers are playing now. Who you got?
Titans.
Yeah, I'll take the Titans too. You got the Bears and the Falcons.
Bears.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take the Bears. Let me know what we didn't talk about. Jeff Saturday's first win.
Yeah, that a lot of people are just we talked about this before. Are still discussing. Yeah, I like the guy. He's going to do a good job there. Hopefully, but it still wasn't right. The whole process of him basically being the owner's friend and got the team that way. But if he does well, cool for him. And if he don't, he'll go back to ESPN. With the pancake.
Yeah. That's probably why I haven't had the chance to really listen to much sports this week, but they didn't seem to really, because Stephen A. Smith usually is somebody who would really hammer that out. But I think because they're fellow commentators and so forth, they kind of took it light. And Saturdays, from what I see and what it seems his perception and the way they talk about him, it's just an all-around good guy. Like most offensive linemen that I've met, they're all pretty good guys.
Yeah.
Right. They're just big teddy bears. You know what I mean? I mean, they're mean in the thing, but they're big teddy bears. Right. But I was happy for Saturday to have his win. I wanted to see how he did. But the one thing they all did say is they saw an immediate impact on what he did with the offensive line.
He put Matt Ryan back in the game.
Like this.
And what they do? They ran
Jonathan Taylor, the ball.
A New Jersey guy from South Jersey, ran the ball. A lot.
Yep. And the line performed better.
Another New Jersey guy, Quentin Nelson from Red Bank Catholic, or was it St. John's Vandy? One of them two schools up there. Yeah, another guy, another Jersey kid, two Jersey guys.
Well, good for Saturday. I mean, the process, that's a different topic, but for him just to come out of there and be able to win, I mean, that's pretty impressive. I mean, I don't know how you just come from the booth to a head coach.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
the whole process, man.
the
But it's
process is
awful.
different. I don't agree with
It,
that, but
it's
somehow they did it and it worked. So you got Indy against the Eagles, and remember they're going to run, and they're
I'm going with
playing in Indianapolis.
what? I'm going with the Colts.
I'm going with the Colts too. Hey, the Jets are playing well. Shout out to Richie Vargas and our friends out there and the Jet fans. Okay, you got the Jets at the Patriots. The Patriots looked pretty good last game
Jets.
defensively.
Yep.
You got the
They're
Jets.
top 5 defense. They're good.
I'll take the Jets as well. I'm going to take the Colts. You got the Commanders and the Texans. I'll take the Commanders.
Commanders.
You have the Rams against the Saints. That should be.
Yeah, both of them stink. So the Saints.
I'll go with the Rams on that one. Browns at the Bills.
Bills.
Oh, I thought you said, yeah. So they're playing. They're not at Bills though. They're going to play in Cleveland though, right?
I don't know.
It's this Sunday. You said that they had to change.
One of the games. They're going to be playing in Detroit.
It's got to be when's the snow come? If the snow's coming
this weekend. Yeah, whatever game is this weekend.
It's not Detroit. It's the Browns.
They're going to play. They're going to play the game in Detroit.
Oh, they're playing the game in Detroit against the Browns.
Right. No, the Browns and the Bills are going to go to Detroit.
Wait a second. Oh, we got a game Sunday and then Thursday. Got it. Okay, so we got the Panthers and the Ravens.
Ravens.
I'll take the Ravens. Giants, Detroit.
Lions.
How are you gonna pick? What's wrong with you?
What?
Everybody heard that, right? He says he's a Giant fan and he's got a Detroit Lions shirt. Don't question who I'm rooting for. I got Giants all the way, baby. All right, we got the Raiders and we got two terrible teams right now: the Broncos and the Raiders.
Whoever shows up, the Broncos.
They're playing in Denver. You know, it's tough to play in Denver.
Go with Denver. Why not?
I'll go with Denver there. Ooh, this is a good game, and you know who I'm going to go with. Okay, Sunday at late game is going to be the Vikings and the Cowboys.
Vikings.
I'm going to take the Vikings. Vikings look pretty good. You know, I'm still not convinced with Kirk Cousins for whatever reason, but Dalvin Cook is incredible. I think
that kid, the receiver, Justin. You see this catch, Justin Jefferson?
Yeah. Woo, that was an incredible catch. That was an incredible catch. I'm gonna take the Vikings. We'll put the Cowboys down again. You got the Steelers against the Bengals. You gonna take the Bengals? All right, I'm gonna go with my boy Tomlin. But I like Burrows, but I'll go with the Steelers. Chiefs, Chargers, Chiefs all the way. Who do you got?
Chargers.
They're not looking too good, bro.
That'll be all right though.
And Justin Herbert's playing okay. I'm telling you, that coach needs to be fired. He should have been fired last year.
All his receivers are hurt. All his top 3 receivers.
Fire the coach.
All his receivers.
In the Cardinals.
49ers.
Jimmy G, it wins. You know that his record is better when he doesn't throw a touchdown pass.
Game manager. That's all he is. Game manager.
Okay, but listen to me. Yeah. But if the guy gets you to the Super Bowl, do you care?
You got to win the Super Bowl. Can he put them on his back and win it?
I like Jimmy G, so I'm happy for him. I hate that he gets dogged as much as he does. So, but there was a story in the paper that or in the news that they went through a Golden State game. Him, George, is it Kittle, right?
Yeah.
It's Kittle and McCaffrey. And all the cheerleaders came over and fist pumped Jimmy G.
I wonder why.
They barely acknowledged the other guy.
They probably, he's a quarterback. The quarterback, you're always gonna see him without, a
Dude,
helmet on.
the dude's a stud, man. He's like the movie. He's like a movie or a television show prototypical, the great looking quarterback. You know what I mean?
He's
He's that guy.
but he's still the game manager. That's all that matters.
I don't know, but the brother wins. You can say whatever he wants. He wins. I mean, listen to me. Carson Wentz. That's the example. This is where my example. And again, this is not personal against Carson Wentz. This is about the play of Carson Wentz. I don't know him. I don't want to speak bad of him from a personal standpoint. But when I say he's not a winner, he's just not a winner. Yet he's got all the tools. He's got talent. He's got, he's got everything that it technically should make him a great quarterback. And he doesn't win. And then you got the Jimmy G, right? That does what it takes to win. And look, the one factor that you may not be counting it, but you probably know, but the team likes Jimmy G.
Right.
I mean, they like playing for him. It's not that they didn't like Jordan Love. It's just they like Jimmy G. I mean, didn't Kittle have that shirt on that everybody thought was all weird that he had a shirt of Jimmy G's face and this and that? But they like playing for him. That's got to make a difference for the team as well, right? When you're playing with someone that you like.
Because he's a professional. He comes, he puts in the work. That's what it is. That's all it is. He comes in and puts in the work, and they see him putting in the work.
All righty. So now we got the following week on Thursday.
Who's a 12 o'clock game? Detroit and somebody.
Wait a second. We don't play Detroit. We play the Cowboys.
Yeah, on Thanksgiving Day, yeah. At 4 o'clock.
This is our second time playing them, right?
What, on Thanksgiving Day?
No, our second time this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We should beat them this time.
Yeah, okay.
And then we got on Thursday, you got the Bills against the Lions. That should be the Bills, hands down. And then I'll leave. So there's three games, and then you got the Patriots and the Vikings. I think the Vikings could be not. The Vikings could be like 9-10-1 at this point.
Yep.
So, oh man, this is gonna be a great Thanksgiving because I'm gonna enjoy the Giants. The Giants and Cowboys game is probably the best game of on Thursday. Because Patriots Vikings, I don't think so. But you never know with Belichick if he comes back. Hey, the Dolphins are playing good football.
Yes, they
are. We'll wrap it up. Playing good football. Who is playing good football?
Because he's not fragile anymore.
No. You're either fragile or you're not fragile.
Well, he's getting the ball. Put it this way: he's getting the ball out of his hands, and he's not. When he runs, he's not running like the last time he did it. When he ran and he put his head down to get an extra yard, he's learned his lesson. Slide, man, slide.
Oh, wait a second.
What?
But when I said that about Daniel Jones, you said he's a football player.
He is a football player.
He's a football.
Because Daniel Jones is 6'5".
Why is that any different?
No, Daniel Jones is 6'5", 240 pounds. Tua is probably about 6 foot, about 190 pounds if he's lucky. That's a difference. It's a difference.
I don't care. Getting hit is getting hit. Doesn't matter. Slide. He's playing good football. They're playing. I am in. We're so topsy turvy of that. The NFC East. I mean, the AFC East is another turnaround. Yeah. Do you agree? That's another turnaround conference.
Yeah.
Right. Where we thought Buffalo was going to run away with it. Buffalo. If the season stopped, Buffalo may not be in it. Why you keep showing me the Detroit? What's that got to do with AFC East?
I just want to, just in case, I just want to, keep doing it.
Okay, so me too.
Okay.
Me too. So the NFC East is, Dolphins are there. The Jets are right in the mix.
Buffalo, all of them.
And Buffalo's tough, but I don't know what's happening. Don't forget them. Yeah, New England has got a good tough defense, but one thing that I did question, and I had said it, but Buffalo was proving me wrong early in the season, was they lost a lot of coaches. Like the
Yeah,
Giants took a lot of their coaches.
yeah,
So for
and
them to start off the season playing so well, I was like, wow, okay, this is pretty impressive. And now look what's happening.
but just think about this: who is the quarterback whisperer now? When Josh Allen was doing well up in Buffalo, who's the OC? Brian Dable. Now look at with the Giants. Brian Dable with Daniel Jones. He's the quarterback whisperer.
Yeah, we're talking about.
Yeah.
You can't wait. I don't. First of all, I may. There's some. I agree to some of that because Josh Allen performed, but Josh Allen is a different quarterback than Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is not necessarily lighting it up, so he's not really quarterback whispering other than managing the game, right?
But,
So until
but
Daniel Jones can
how
play
many interceptions?
even
How many interceptions
at
has he
70,
thrown this year? How many interceptions has he
oh,
thrown? Daniel, two,
Daniel Jones.
two, two. Josh Allen has he's thrown two a game the last three games.
Hold on. All
I'm
right.
waiting.
So hold on, I'm looking.
Quarterback whisperer Brian Dable, and he has worked in
Yeah,
miracles.
yeah.
He has worked miracles with Daniel Jones, where he's he's becoming the quarterback that we always knew.
Jones is only he's got 2 interceptions and he's got 8 touchdowns. Wow, his rating is his rating is 92 from 60 something, remember?
Huh, huh, Quarterback
Mhm.
whisperer. Quarterback whisperer Brian Dable.
Joe Judge offered Blunt to take on Daniel Jones. Take on Blunt coach Daniel Jones. Vanilla Vic while mic'd up. He calls him Vanilla Vic.
Brian Dable is the quarterback whisperer, man. Admit it.
I'm not gonna admit it. Nothing. He's not a quarterback whisperer for nothing. But okay, so regular season. These are his yards. Yeah, he's got 1,596 yards passing, 8 touchdowns, 92% rating, right? And his rating now has gone up to 85% for this year.
With 5 of the worst wide receivers in the whole NFL, by far.
We should do that ranking of the
receivers.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take care of that next week. I'm gonna have it.
I just wanted to see something because you mentioned that. Let's look at what we got. Hey, Brady looked pretty good. They won a good game.
I ain't worried about Brady. Moving along. Keep it
Brady
moving.
said he's happy.
Yeah, he's divorced now. That's why he's happy. Yeah, keep it moving with him.
But they filed for divorce. They didn't divorce. But supposedly she's already got some guy on. He's hanging
There's
out.
some Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy that's gonna choke him out if he comes over to act it up.
Is it the jiu-jitsu guy? I know he was there. The kid. They said that the kid's jiu-jitsu teacher was coming with them. So
yeah,
the
jiu-jitsu guy. Yeah.
All right. So Dak right now has an 85%, and he's got 6 TDs, 4 interceptions. And let me just look at this real quick before we go. And Cooper Rush he's got 5 TDs and 3 interceptions. So that's not too good. He's got an 80%, so it's not really, but he's won even when he's had those pieces. Who else did I want to see? Who else were we looking at? We were talking about another quarterback.
None. I'm going to have all that stuff next week. As far as the wide receiver ranking, I'm going to show you how bad the Giants are.
Let's see. Any other quarterback you want to look at real quick before we get wrapping this up?
Nope. All I worry about is Daniel Jones. That's all I'm worried about. Daniel Jones is a star, and he's gonna get paid in off season.
Jimmy G's has got a regular rating of 100.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, but he's got 11. He's got 11 TDs and 4 interceptions. He's thrown for almost 2,000 yards.
Okay.
So I mean, he's playing some pretty good football. I don't know why you don't like him, but that is the scoop. All right, let me see. We start wrapping this up real quick. Again, a shout out. I want to shout out to Tyrone's family again.
Yeah. And the kids down to the 3 that got killed down there at UVA, and the 2, I think it was 2 other ones got shot, as well. So prayers to their family as well.
Yeah. It just seems these things come in rashes, it's like people see it and then all of a sudden they all start going. It's just terrible. Terrible. All righty. Hey, let's not forget the Gary Sinise Foundation, Sinise, SINISE, Gary Sinise Foundation.org. Freedom and security are precious gifts that we as Americans should never take for granted. We want to do all we can to extend our hand in times of need to those who willingly sacrifice each day to provide that freedom and security. While we can never do enough to show the gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little more. Gary Sinise, please do a donation. Anything you can do would help out quite a bit for our nation's defenders and first responders. Don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at the Sportscast1. Visit our website, thesportscast.net. Don't forget to download our podcast, the Jersey Boys Sports Talk, on your podcast on Apple. You could also on smart speakers, you could say, hey, listen to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk. It'll come on. Or listen to the Sportscast. It'll come on. Join us next Thursday. What time, Byron?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. We're going to go run down some receivers. Byron's going to show us that we're winning with some terrible receivers, which is why I think we need Odell Beckham. We need something there. And we're looking forward to next week. I am looking forward to happy Thanksgiving. So we may actually next week, we may be off, right? I don't know if we're going to be having our show unless we're going to do a quick in between, but we may we may want to do some. I'm thinking, Byron, from time to time, maybe we do some quick snippets. If I can catch you while you're watching the game, is your computer stuck in that room where you're at right now?
No, I have another one because I'll be with my sisters.
Oh, okay.
So I have the whole group, Vonda and Sonya there.
Oh, really?
And another wannabe Giant fan will be there too. So I have the whole crew.
All right, so maybe we do something. Maybe we'll do something during the piece. I'll help you out. I'll set up the restream to make it easier.
Yeah, sure.
Now we could do it on Zoom because what I like about Zoom is that we could we're allowed to show, I believe, like the ESPN, like the game cast, where you're just seeing where the football is and so forth. But then we can talk about the game while it's playing.
All right.
And that's what Aaron and I did, and we can talk about some of those plays that come on. I love so not. I'm also going to send you that highlight reel of Patrick McCahoon, so you can get a better understanding of that. Well, Byron, you're going to be where are you having Thanksgiving?
In Delaware, Vonda's house.
You saw Vonda and your sisters and everybody. I said hello. Give them a hug and a kiss to your family and the Jones family. I'll be at my dad's. So happy birthday to my dad, my pop. 20-year Army vet, Brown Star, 88 years old. So, every day is a little bit scary. Still strong, so everything's going well. So God bless him. I hope I live until 88, but we'll see what happens there. All right, Byron, you have a good night. We're looking excited to have talk a little bit about things, what's going on, and we need some receivers.
Yes, we
and
do.
Let's hope our defense can gel a little bit more and keep playing the football that we want to play. But right now, I'm a happy camper.
Yes, I am. Even though I'm a trader, real quick.
Yes, you are. Bye. You have a good night. Peace.
All right, you too.